Currently, Earth. It was January 26th in the year 1788 that Captain Arthur Phillip guides a fleet of 11 British ships carrying convicts to the colony of New South Wales, effectively founding Australia. After overcoming a period of hardship, the fledgling colony began to celebrate the anniversary of this date with great fanfare, and it eventually became commemorated as Australia Day. In recent times, Australia Day has become increasingly controversial as it marks the start of when the continent's indigenous people were gradually dispossessed of their land as white colonization spread across the continent. Australia, once known as New South Wales, was originally planned as a penal colony. In October 1786, the British government appointed Arthur Phillip captain of the HMS Sirius and commissioned him to establish an agricultural work camp there for British convicts. With little idea of what he could expect from the mysterious and distant land, Phillip had great difficulty assembling the fleet that was to make the journey. His requests for more experienced farmers to assist the penal colony were repeatedly denied, and he was both poorly funded and outfitted. Nonetheless, accompanied by a small contingent of Marines and other officers, Phillip led his 1,000-strong party, of whom more than 700 were convicts, around Africa to the eastern side of Australia. In all, the voyage lasted 8 months, continuing the eternity of some 30 men. The first years of the settlement were nearly disastrous. Cursed with poor soil, an unfamiliar climate, and workers who were ignorant of farming, Phillip had great difficulty keeping the men alive. The colony was on the verge of outright starvation for several years, and the Marines sent to keep order were not up to the task. Phillip, who proved to be a tough but fair-minded leader, persevered by appointing convicts to positions of responsibility and oversight. Floggings and hangings were commonplace, but so was egalitarianism. As Phillip said before leaving England, quote, "In a new country there will be no slavery, and hence no slaves," unquote. Though Phillip returned to England in 1792, the colony became prosperous by the turn of the 19th century. Feeling a new sense of patriotism, the men began to rally around January 26 as their founding day. Historian Manning Clark noted that in 1808, the men observed the anniversary of the foundation of the colony with drinking and merriment. On January 26 in 1818, Australia Day became an official holiday, marking the 30th anniversary of British settlement in Australia. As Australia became a sovereign nation, it became the national holiday known as Australia Day. Many Aboriginal Australians call it Invasion Day. It was January 26th in the year 2006, during a live broadcast of her daytime TV talk show, that Oprah Winfrey confronts author James Frey about fabrications in A Million Little Pieces, his memoir about addiction and recovery, which Oprah chose as her book club selection in September of 2005. A Million Little Pieces, published in 2003, was James Frey's first book. In it, he described in graphic detail his harrowing experiences with addictions to drugs and alcohol, and his time at a treatment center when he was in his early 20s. After Oprah picked A Million Little Pieces for her popular on-air book club, which launched in 1996, the memoir climbed the bestsellers list, following in the footsteps of many of the club's previous selections. In October of 2005, Frey appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show to promote his book, which the talk show host had previously said she couldn't put down, calling it a gut-wrenching memoir that is raw, and it's so real. Then, in early January 2006, The Smoking Gun website published an expose claiming court records, police reports, and interviews with a variety of sources showed that Frey had falsified and exaggerated parts of A Million Little Pieces, especially surrounding his criminal past and time spent in jail, in order to make his story more dramatic. On January 11th in 2006, Frey and his mother appeared on Larry King Live to defend A Million Little Pieces, and Winfrey called into the show to express support for the author. However, 2 weeks later, on January 26, when Frey appeared on Winfrey's for a second time, he faced tough questioning from the talk show host, whose attitude towards him had changed. Winfrey began the live program by telling him, quote, "It is difficult for me to talk to you because I feel really duped. But more importantly, I feel that you betrayed millions of readers," unquote. Frey admitted to Winfrey that he had altered and embellished details of his story, including the fact that he had been in jail for just several hours, not 87 days, as stated in his book. When Oprah inquired about a particularly memorable incident from the book in which he wrote about having a root canal without anesthesia, Frey conceded he couldn't recall whether or not the dentist had used any Novocaine. Oprah also confronted the publisher of A Million Little Pieces, saying her staff had been contacted about possible inaccuracies in the book, only to be told that the publishing company stood by Frey's story as a work of nonfiction. During the show, the publisher acknowledged that A Million Little Pieces had not been fact-checked. Frey's fabrications sparked a national debate over the definition of memoir. In the aftermath of the controversy, he was dropped by his literary agent, and his publisher settled a class action lawsuit brought by readers who claimed they had been defrauded. Future editions of A Million Little Pieces included a note from Frey in which he admitted to altering parts of his story. However, the scandal did not signal the end of Frey's career. He went on to publish novels including Bright, Shiny Morning in 2008 and The Final Testament of the Holy Bible in 2011. It was January 26, the beginning of 2020, that a helicopter carrying former pro basketball player Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old Gianna and 7 other people crashed in Calabasas, California, roughly 30 miles north of Los Angeles. Everyone on board continued their eternity. Bryant's continuance of eternity sent shockwaves through the American sporting world. Kobe Bryant played for the Los Angeles Lakers from 1996 until 2016, winning 5 NBA championships and the 2008 Most Valuable Player award while making the All-Star team in 15 of his 20 seasons. By his mid-career, Bryant had established himself as one of the greatest players in NBA history, known for his clutching shoot, capable defending, work ethic, and longevity. He was accused of sexual assault in 2003, a charge which he settled out of court. The episode cost him some of his most lucrative sponsorship deals, but he retained his status as one of the wealthiest and most beloved American athletes. In addition to his long playing career, Bryant was known for his philanthropy and several business ventures and film projects. He wrote the 2017 short film Dear Basketball, which won an Academy Award. Bryant and his daughter, along with the other passengers, were headed to Gianna's basketball game at the Mamba Sports Academy in Thousand Oaks, California. Not long after takeoff, the helicopter crashed in foggy conditions. The accident shocked sports fans across America and around the world. Kobe Bryant had been set to host the Grammy Awards that very evening, and the ceremony became one of the first of countless tributes to him, his daughter, and the 7 other victims. The Los Angeles airport, the Empire State Building, and the Burj Khalifa were all lit in purple and yellow, the Lakers' colors in tribute to Bryant. Shaquille O'Neal, Bryant's longtime teammate, sometime rival, and another of the era's greatest players, said he had no words to express the pain he felt at Bryant's death. And fellow NBA legend Michael Jordan called Bryant one of the greats of the game and a creative force. The information documented on this audio file can be verified on history.com.